Cage.
everyone.
No, you better say hi to Cage, because if you don't talk to Cage, he's just going to bombard the thing. Then you're going to give him a shout out, and he's going to say he didn't hear it because he went to bed and he's with the kids.
What's up, Cage?
Cage, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Card Sands.
Wrestling Revolution.
What's up?
It's been long, man. It's been long. But we're shutting it down like maybe tomorrow, like 1, 2 o'clock. That's it until Tuesday. So.
Yep.
Corporate office is in Cincinnati, and they've already begun Super Bowl celebration. They're slamming Skyline Chili, and they're ready to party.
That makes more sense.
Cage, man, you are like a poor man's Jeremy with the way you put your words together. I was on Whatnot the other day. They were bidding on cards. I was trying to get Cage, not the cards.
Yes, we are going live Tuesday on Whatnot again. We're live every Monday and Tuesday, but we will not be live this Monday because it's Valentine's Day.
Yep.
And our babysitter is our daughter, and she's probably going to be hanging out with her boyfriend.
All right, so we got an awesome guest tonight, Courtney.
Yes. So if you've been living under a rock or you haven't been on any social media platforms, then you might not know who our guest is. But otherwise, our guest this evening is Stephanie from MamaBreaks. She was the guest before me. I was just on Woman of the Hobby. She was the episode before me, 39. She is everywhere. She's going to be a keynote speaker at the Mint. She is amazing. She's got a great Whatnot show, and she graciously agreed to join us this evening to discuss balancing a pretty active hobby business and a family.
And just like Woman of the Hobby, all Courtney, and every time we do this, I'm more and more out of the picture. Scumbag.
You asked to sit on that side.
Yeah, MamaBreaks is awesome. We're excited to talk to her, learn a lot, and hopefully we'll be better as a result of it.
Thanks. I was nervous. I don't know why, because Sam's awesome, but I was like, I talk a lot, and sometimes I forget to shut up. So it's hard to do that. When are they getting Reckless gear? We have some Reckless gear, so we will. We'll have to give some stuff away. Like on the next jump.
You can buy it as an NFT.
So as soon as Stephanie wants
She's been on.
Yeah, as soon as you want to just request to join stuff, we'll add you in. There we go.
Bam, like clockwork.
Color your beard blue. It's the beard, so we're not even messing with
Yeah, I absolutely hate it. This is a Courtney thing.
I love it.
And I don't know why I'm trying to even keep her happy. It's not like we don't have enough damn kids running around here.
Hey guys.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. I feel like I'm very short tonight. It's just my chin. How have you been? You having a good weekend?
Good, yeah, it's just a busy week. Always a busy week. You guys know that.
Oh, yeah. It's nonstop. So, how? I guess we could just jump right in. Do you want to just kind of talk about what you do in the hobby and how you got into it and everything?
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I've loved the guests that you've had on. I remember my favorite. I try to jump on as much as I can. Right now it's kind of like family time for me. So if I do listen to these, I'll be listening like on my AirPods when I'm with the kids or doing laundry and stuff. But two of my favorite episodes have been Peter Pac-Man you had on. Oh, he's so well spoken. I really love that interview. And the War Sports cards was a really cool one too.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, so I appreciate everything that you guys do, and I think these are just getting better and better, and I'm really honored to be a part of it. And I also want to tell you that you did an awesome job on the Women of the Hobby interview. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, I had to go after you, and yours was so good.
Thank you.
That's what we heard for like 3 weeks. She's like, oh my God, Stephanie was so good. Everybody's going to hate us. And then our house came to a screeching halt when she knew it was going to come on. And it was like checking YouTube every 6 seconds, seeing if it's on. And then it was posted, and then she was running around the house like a maniac.
I was probably one of the first people to watch it too, because I actually have a class on Tuesdays around the same time she posts every week. So I'm always waiting for it. I know, I hope none of my classmates are listening, but I'm usually listening to Women of the Hobby during class. So
So she dropped it right when we were going live for Whatnot, and then on Tuesday nights we're live for like 3 hours. So it was up for 3 hours before I even got to like go and like listen, and then I was
This is
like,
probably better then. You were able to see the positive comments. You got a lot of good comments too.
yeah, people were really nice. I was nervous, but you know, you never know. You put yourself out there. Like we all do this every day, and that's part of it. You put yourself out there, and what happens, happens, I guess, you know?
Absolutely. I think that's really important to talk about too, is that, it seems to people sometimes easy that when you have success because, it's just, to me, I want to point out that it's really hard to put yourself out there. It was really hard for me at the beginning. I don't know if Mark's watching. He's probably not, but he's one of the first people that was like, I asked him for advice. I was like, this is at Ultimate Pastime. I was like, hey, I want to be like you. You have so much to teach. I have so much to teach, but it's so difficult for me to put myself out there like that. And he's just like, well, you already do it, right? I was doing breaks already. He's like, just flip the camera. And the way that he made me see it that way, I've never looked back. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
true. I do this. I'm a teacher. I did teaching during distance learning all of last year. I was like, you know what? I can do this. So flipping the camera has been the best thing for us.
I love your social media. You know, I follow you on everything, and I really enjoy it. Your TikToks are fantastic. Some of them are like hilarious, and other ones you're like really imparting knowledge. And every time one of them pops up, I'm like, this is such good content. So,
oh, thank you. I feel that way about you guys too.
thanks.
Oh, thank you.
So tonight we're sort of talking. Well, I wanted to have you sort of talk about how you got into the hobby and sort of like what you feel like your niche is in the hobby.
Okay. I know that's hard. Niches are hard, huh? But how I got into the hobby, isn't it so funny how we all have our story that we have to tell everybody? Too, I feel like I've told this story like 5 different times already.
I know.
So I love baseball. I love baseball growing up. That's a huge part of why I'm into sports cards. My dad was really into baseball. My stepdad, he took us to baseball games a lot. I played softball. I loved watching women's softball. So I'm just an athlete overall. Growing up, I wish I had more of an opportunity to play, more competitively, but unfortunately the area I grew up in wasn't that great. So we didn't have that kind of opportunity in South Central. But where am I going with this? So I love baseball. That's the point. Okay, I love baseball, and I caught wind of all this, sports card craze happening during quarantine, and I figured I'd take a look at it. I started doing a bunch of research because I wanted to get my dad a nice basketball card, and I just fell into the rabbit hole. I love to research, so.
It's so easy to fall into it. It's crazy. I watched your interview with Sam, and you were talking about, looking for a card for your dad and how you like baseball. So like, if you're not like a huge basketball person, and like, I feel like I've learned a lot about different sports too, just from sports cards, like ones that maybe I'm not super interested in, but now I know a lot about. So it's crazy.
What card did you ultimately end up getting your dad?
I got him Xavier Tillman, Michigan State Green Choice out of 8, because he's a big MSU basketball fan. So I'm helping him start a little like MSU PC. So got him like some Eric Snow, I think. MSU basketball.
And we'll have to keep our eyes out for you.
Yeah, did he go to school at MSU? Because MSU is like an hour from us.
Yes, he went to medical school at MSU.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, my parents are young.
Oh, yeah.
So about when I was growing up, middle school, he was in medical school when I was in middle school.
Oh,
I actually spent a summer in East Lansing.
Oh,
I thought you guys were from Chicago.
Originally.
We moved to Michigan a couple years ago for real life work, and but we're still Chicago through and through.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I spent a couple of summers in East Lansing. So I remember one thing. Because he lived in apartments at the time, and one of his neighbors would always ask us, I was little at the time, a little girl asked us, do you see celebrities in LA? And I was like, no, we don't. And it just was weird to me at that age, to like, have you guys ever been to a beach?
Yeah, we travel a lot, so.
Oh, okay. I don't, so. something I took for granted as a kid, just having a beach, you know. I was like, oh yeah, I've been to the beach. What do you mean? But I had never been to a lake before I went to the Michigan lake, so
Yeah, Michigan's got a lot of lakes. A
yeah.
lot of lakes.
Yeah, but I loved it there. So
So you're absolutely crushing it. You're doing the social media thing. You're on Whatnot. I think you've got a Discord now. You're posting cards. You're a Dodgers fan, which kind of sucks because I'm a Cubs fan and I could do without the Dodgers. You like Clayton Kershaw. So how do you manage? Are you just a one-man band, or do you have some people behind the scenes that are part of the Mama Breaks team? And like, how does that work? And then I want to get into like how we manage our family relative to how you manage your family, and maybe you're doing something better than us. Because right now our kids are duct taped in the closet with a gag in their mouth, so they'll be quiet, so we can get 45 minutes of silence to have a chat.
Actually, biggest, I guess, behind the scenes part of Mama Breaks that I haven't talked about is my grandma. So, yeah, my grandma's from El Salvador originally, and during quarantine and all that happened, she was stuck over there, and you know, we just have decided that she's going to live with us permanently, and she helps me with the kids so much. Mama Breaks wouldn't exist without my grandmother. So she's actually in one of the rooms playing with the kids right now. If she wasn't playing with them, they would be all over. My son's probably going to make an appearance soon anyway. He'll bust out of there right now.
Well, big ups to Grandmama Breaks.
Grandmama Breaks.
Grandmama Breaks, holding it down.
Yeah, exactly. So she helps me so much.
Same. My mom is like huge. She takes the kids for us too. Like, shout out to grandparents for real. So
yeah, we wouldn't be in Vegas or Shipshewana or any of the shows if it wasn't for Grandma holding it down.
Yeah, we're going to Atlanta at the end of the month, and it's because my mom's agreed to take the kids for the weekend. Otherwise, we couldn't go. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I was so excited about Mint. You know what? Initially, we were going to take the kids to Mint. That's how crazy we were. We were like, we don't have babysitter. And then last minute, my mom was like, we'll take them. And I was like, seriously? And we were like, yeah, we're going to have a weekend in Vegas. And we did it.
It's going to be so much fun.
But
how many kids?
Now we will. We only have 2. Lucas is almost 3 and Elias is 1.
You say only, like that's like 2's plenty. I promise
you. Have 4. That's what
I know. So what I'm saying is 2's plenty. That's good.
Yeah.
How old is your youngest?
3.
Okay, yeah. Well, my little one's almost 3. So yeah, they're a handful right now.
3, 4, 13, and 15.
Yep. 3, 4,
15 is the one that scares me. You said that your daughter had a boyfriend right now. I was like, oh my gosh. I was so glad I don't have a girl.
It's the worst. He's a nice kid. I just
Come on, let's keep it positive. Let's not have this go downhill.
I was gonna say, do your kids watch these shows?
Oh yeah, she's probably on right now. She'll probably say something snotty. She likes to jump on here and have a little say. So what I wanted to ask too was, I know that you talk about your husband and that he likes sports cards, but he's not super into like the Mama Break stuff. He helps you behind the scenes. He does that kind of stuff, but he's more hands off when it comes to being like out there like you do. Does he actually like sports cards as much as you, or is it more of a you thing? It's more of a you thing.
It's absolutely more of a me thing, the sports cards aspect of it. A reason why we're together, this will be our 10th Valentine's Day together. We've been together for 10 years now. And our whole relationship is always centered around sports. You know, one of the first Christmas presents he ever gave me was my first licensed Dodger jersey, okay? Because I had knockoffs when I was a kid. And so when I decided that I wanted to build a collection, when I decided I wanted to start collecting, I didn't have the business aspect of it in mind at all. Like, my thing was just like, you know what, I'm going to make this my hobby because I want something to do on the side that makes me happy. And once I started getting really into it, it was my husband that was like, hey, you know what, you're really good at this. I was good at finding, you know, little plays here and there to pay for a box that I wanted to open. And he's the one that was kind of like, put it in my head, like, you know, you could probably do what these people are doing, the people that you're watching all night, So he would get on, are you watching breaks at midnight? You know, what are you doing on eBay at midnight? That was like the beginning, this time last year. And it was him that was actually like, you know, you should do that as a business. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, you should do it. And I'm like, no, you're crazy. He's like,
He
no,
was
do
right.
it. And
Look what you've done.
and he told me, if you do it, you better do it right and I'll help you. But if you're not gonna do it, if you're gonna do it wishy-washy, I'm not gonna help you. So that's how we started. And he helps with, he does all the finance part. I'm not good at that stuff. And he takes care of like the accounting. He takes care of keeping track of the expenses. Again, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without him too, because that's such an important part that if you're over here focusing on doing the sales and doing the marketing, it gets overwhelming. So I think that's another important part to like know out there is a team is really important.
Well, I think it's odd. Well, first, shout out to MamaBreaks for being supportive. Oftentimes, when we get like messages on DMs or you know, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, it's always like vice versa. Like people wondering how I got Courtney into cards, and we're fortunate that we both have a passion for cards, and so we spend a lot of time just telling people like, well, maybe you could include your partner, which is usually the guy going to the lady or a significant other, how to bring them in. And I think it's pretty awesome that he was supportive of something that you enjoyed, and then he found a way that he probably has a business acumen where he's like, okay, I can monetize this and keep my wife happy all in one.
That's super cool. And it was crazy because we did some polls, and when I ran the polls of like, does your partner collect, or are they, you know, in the hobby at all, only 3% of like, it was like 400 people that answered this question. So only 3% of those people said that their partners were involved in the hobby also. And I thought that was interesting. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around because we're so, you know, involved together, but we do have a lot of friends who only one of them collects. So it does seem like that's pretty common. And so many people want to get their partners into the hobby, or like, you know, it's hard to balance because I feel like with breaks and boxes and things dropping and, you know, content to watch, sometimes it can get really very involved. So what kind of advice,
right, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for people who like to, you know, to balance that out? Like, you know, how do you like either help your partner join you in the hobby, or how do you like, hey, you know, like I've spent 92 hours this week watching card breaks. Maybe I need to not do that.
I don't know. I think about that several different ways. I guess I have a lot of questions that's very specific to the person, you know. So are we speaking like in terms of card business? Because you're right, just being a collector is so different from trying to build a business. Like you said, 90 hours on this kind of stuff. I don't think that's an understatement, because you're looking at content, you're looking at cards, you're keeping track of the product releasing, you're breaking, you're shipping. Oh my gosh, shipping is the unknown.
The worst.
It's not the worst, but it's definitely the most time consuming. So
you watch the games to know what the players are doing, reading about, you know, injuries and trades, and you know.
So if we didn't do this together, you're right, it would definitely be a problem. Like if we didn't do this business together. So I guess my advice is just, like I said, you know, if your husband or wife isn't interested in helping you in this business, that's fine. But you do need to have somebody to help. You doing it on your own and maintaining a family would be pretty difficult.
I want to correct. Somebody said something about shipping. I actually enjoy the shipping process because I love how tight my stuff is. My cardboard's cut perfectly. I will lose I'm a psychopath when it comes to this. I don't like when you break stuff. Like we did a case of football and there was like 2,000 cards and it took forever to sort. So maybe to be clear, not the biggest fan of sorting cards.
Yeah.
But the shipping process is nice.
Sorting base cards.
Yes. Yes.
I like looking at all the nice cards, but like when it comes to like, and we ship a lot of times, we ship all the base too. We ship if you buy in, you get everything. So it's just, It's a lot sometimes.
Well, what we do, I love shipping personally too. My favorite part of shipping is the actual packing of the cards. So my husband hates that part. You see, it's just yin and yang sometimes, and I'm like, okay, you sort. Okay, I'll come over here and have something to eat because I'm the one breaking, so I'm resting while he's sorting, and then once he's done sorting, I go in and pack, and while I'm packing, he's printing the labels and putting, and together we have a pretty good system.
That's awesome. See, that's how you have to like, have it.
How do you determine how do you differentiate family time, leisure time, hobby time, and then Mama Breaks as a business time? Do you guys try a set schedule? Is it how you feel? Do you ever have like that day where you're just like not doing the card thing today?
No, card thing is every day. It's me that's always like, we have to do something card related today. Well, like you said, with kids, it's so different because your time is so unpredictable. So I never decide not to have a card day, but my son will decide, you know what, mom and dad, you're not having a card day today. I decide to, kids, they get sick, and so it's different. The kids are always number one, what we have to do for them. And I guess a way that I do separate it, number one, no leisure time, I don't think. I was thinking about that today. I don't really sit down and do anything that I would consider leisure time.
Maybe breaking a box of cards without a camera on would be considered like leisure time?
No, I record everything. I used to do that. I record everything just in case, because honestly, there's like, for example, the Topps Chrome. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember the Topps Chrome box that I posted, the product review. That was actually my Christmas present. I wasn't trying to do a video out of that. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna. So that's another, like, if you're out there wanting to create hobby content, my best, especially if you don't have time, you have kids and pressing matters. I'm a teacher too, so I do have a full-time job as well. I just literally record everything. Anything and everything having to do with cards, I record it, because you never know. If I have time, like I'll put the kids to bed and I do have a minute to sit down, I'll go through my videos and see, okay, can I make a video out of something? So that helps a lot too.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think, because it'll be like the one time you don't record the box that you're gonna like pull some insane one-of-one and not have it recorded. Like,
exactly.
Jeremy's terrible about that. We'll get something and he'll just rip through it all. I'm like, I was gonna record that.
Helps. It just helps to have stuff just in case.
No, I know. I just got to carry a camera around and just tape everything he's doing all the time. So, when it comes to, like, you kind of touched on this, when it comes to the kids, I did another poll where it was, how many, like, do you have kids? And it was 50-50, split right down the middle. Half of the people who answered, it was like 400 people had, so 200 of them had kids and 200 of them didn't. And I think when it comes to this, especially like just talking to you about building, your brand and like, being consistent with going on Whatnot and breaking and doing this and that and the other thing, sometimes if you're inconsistent, you lose followers. People are like, oh, they're only on sometimes, or they, you never know when they're gonna pop up. So we had COVID run through our house, and we were down and out for like 2 weeks. It was rough. So what do you think are some hurdles that people who are building a business in the hobby, where it's like, it is like what you're saying, 24/7? What are some hurdles that people with kids face that like maybe people who don't have kids don't understand? Because I have people messaging me at like 3 a.m. like, hey, do you still have this card? And I'm like, man, I was up until like 2 with the puking kid. I don't know if I have this card.
Yeah. Hi, baby.
Hello.
Sorry.
Baby breaks.
Yes. Now, like I said, the kids are unpredictable. So my number one thing that I always think of, what was I gonna say? What people don't think about with kids is, number one, we talked about it too. Childcare is probably what we talk about the most. Like you said, we can't just get up and leave to a show. We have to plan it, and I can't just agree to a show for a weekend because someone asked me to. I have to be really particular about what shows I decide to do. I would love to be more consistent on Whatnot, but I don't know if there's a solution. Those are the problems. Hi, baby. But the only solutions I can think of is, really decide. And again, I haven't decided this on my own, but the only solution I've thought of it myself is, am I going to take this to the next level? Because if you're still, not being consistent because of the kids and all that, then maybe you do need to hire someone else to do the shows for you. Maybe you do need to invest a little more money to be more consistent and be that business that you want to become, So those are decisions that you have to make. Hi, Papa. So, I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And again, this is stuff that I've been reflecting on the past months too. And it's okay to just be still a small business. But people, they decide to be your customers, and they have that in mind. And the people that want to continue following will, and the ones that don't, then don't. And know that the ones that don't follow you, you could make some adjustments to your business. It's just going to take a little more investing on your part.
They might come back around eventually. Something we've been trying to do recently, especially with Whatnot, is like Monday and Tuesday nights, family-wise, we don't have a lot going on. Those are like nights a week that we don't have anything going on. So we have committed ourselves to doing one break on Mondays and two breaks on Tuesdays, and we start them after the little two go to bed. Yeah. So that way, we have that ability.
You guys are doing a good job. Yeah,
we're trying. It's it is. You can't though. You can't. That is something that I think people don't consider. And the first time we're like, oh, we're definitely going to do this every week this week, and then one of the kids gets sick. Our daughter, we had to take her for a biopsy yesterday. You never know when you have kids how things are going to go. So you just have to roll with that. And I think that there's a lot of younger people in the hobby now, and a lot of them don't have kids, and they have they're just like, hey, when are you going to be doing this? When are you going to be doing that? And I feel bad all the time. They're like, well, I'm not sure. So
yeah, I mean, and that's what I mean. I don't feel bad in the sense that I feel like I owe them. I just feel like, maybe if you're getting to that point, maybe you do need to hire someone else to do things for you to free up that time so you still have time for family. I don't do Whatnot Monday through Friday anymore at all. It just didn't work for us. I teach, so I think about my students a lot too. I don't know if they're watching. Sometimes they do. So I think about my students all the time. I want to be the number one teacher for my students. I want to be the number one teacher, number one mom for my kids. I want to be the number one, granddaughter, number one wife. Those are things that matter to me first. And then this business is everything else to me. So every second I'm not with them or thinking about that, I do this.
That's awesome. It's so important to have priorities and perspective.
No, I agree. And I think what'll be cool is your kids get older. What we found that our older kids have found different areas within the hobby that they gravitate towards. And so I would say last night, from a mom and dad perspective, was one of the best family nights we've had, because we all hung out in a room for 4 or 5 hours, no distractions from the outer world other than interacting with Whatnot. The kids were learning about interacting with people. They were learning about organizational skills. They were learning about, cost and, return on investment. And we had good laughs. We got to spend time together. We got cheap labor.
We pay them.
That's awesome.
They do get paid. But it's a little bit cheaper. They don't have to pay somebody out there. But, so for us, that's a value, because whether or not we were profitable, that doesn't matter. It was, they're 15 and 13, and they've got their own lives. And for them to want to be with us and be a part of this is pretty awesome from the mom and dad perspective.
Yeah. And I think people overlook, or maybe not everyone, but some people overlook the lessons that they're learning. What are some things that you hope, if your kids, get into the hobby someday, what are some things that you're hoping that they can get from the hobby, and maybe some things that they'll take from the hobby that aren't necessarily just about cards?
I think Jeremy put it perfectly right now. Just the things that they gravitate to and they find their strengths in, so maybe, like you said, your son and daughter were watching, and they see that they really like the salesmanship aspect of it. So they start understanding that they're really good at talking to people and they're really good at persuading people, and they could use that skill to do whatever it is that they become passionate about one day. So that like a way to find their strengths. And then another just overarching theme to me is being able to do something that you love, you know. I preach that to my students so much, is that I feel like in general, because of social media and how we are now, we're gravitating towards more of a, let me not, don't let me figure out what career is going to make me the most money, but how I can make the most money out of something that I'm passionate about. So
I
I think
think,
yeah.
yeah, I think the world is changing towards that. I think,
Hmm.
especially like the last 2 years with the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are like, what can I do? I think that's why the hobby blew up, because like look at all these people who loved sports cards and love sports and have found something that they can not only like just love but also like support the hobby itself with the hobby or make a business out of it. And I think that, you know, that's been really something that's so cool about this. And my kids seeing that, like seeing us, you know, Jeremy's got a full-time like real life job, and so to see him do that all day and then come home and still work so hard at this, and it is hard work, and they see that it's fun, and you get a lot of like, you don't get to rip like $2,000 boxes of cards if you don't put the work in first. So you can
Exactly.
have your fun, but you have to work for it. And I think that that has been a really good lesson for our older kids.
Mm-hmm. And I always think of my students too, because I guess I see all facets of kids. That I teach middle school, and I always had kids. I grew up that way too. How can I choose a career that's going to make me the most money? But it's not about the money all the time, like you said. But you can have a job that, you know, sustains you and everything, but you can come home and have another job that like invigorates you, you know, makes you excited to work. That's like sometimes I get that, like, well, how do you do it? You do so many things. I not for 1 second have I ever felt like I don't want to do this, Mama Breaks. It doesn't feel like a job to me. I love breaking. I said I love shipping. I love meeting new people. It's been so fun to me. So even when I'm so tired, like you said, 3 in the morning, I'm like excited to do it. I want that for everyone, not just in sports cards and whatever it is that you like to do. I'm like the most annoying person to
No,
like random people I meet, because I'm like, what do you love? Tell me what you love. And like my brother, for example, he loves plants and he has like a huge plant collection. And I was like, you need to sell plants. You need to make a TikTok about plants. And you know, you need to do trending sounds with your plants, and then you can blow up. And then I don't know what's a famous like plant brand that
that
can
that just
sponsor
suck it
you.
that just suck it chick on TikTok is blown up because Nike went after her, and that's the instant you said that. I'm like, and I have a friend who grows plants. She
Uh-huh.
sold like a spray. I don't know. I'm not. I
It's
will kill.
insane. That market is insane.
It's like it's so. I had no idea, but she'll sell like a piece of her plant for like $1,500, like a leaf,
Yeah,
so that
my
someone else can
brother
take that
too.
leaf and put it and grow it for like. And then I'm like, how did you? What? People are paying $2,000 for a leaf? And she's like, well, in the stem. So
You know
there's a
what's
word for it.
funny? You know what's funny? You know how we have fire sales on Facebook? They call them purges. That's what my brother said.
Really?
So it's like
Isn't it crazy? Like
a
how these
plant
hobbies
fire sale is a purge.
are. I feel like I'm gonna take that, and I'm not gonna call it a fire sale anymore. We're gonna have a card purge. I think that's a dope name. I'm gonna appropriate that from the plant
The plant
sale
community.
hobby. Yes, taking it.
So you went from like maybe less than 2 years, you're a teacher, so I imagine naturally you're inquisitive. You got
Hmm.
into the hobby and now you're a keynote speaker at the Mint Collective. I don't
Hmm.
imagine that just happens overnight. I don't imagine it's just because you're funny or charming or sweet. I imagine it's because somebody recognized that you know your stuff. How
Thank
did
you.
how did that connection come across, and how do you go from, like you said, it was more of like a just do it where I don't even want to be on camera to now you're going to go and be in, you know, in front of the who's who of the hobby, talking about yourself, your business, and, you know, where you see the hobby going moving forward?
I just want to say, first of all, it warms my heart that, you know, you speak about me that way. And in general, that people are asking me to speak at Mint. And I'm also, I think, should be speaking at Culture Collision in Atlanta. Everybody go February 26th. I'll be on the panel there too with eBay. And honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I'm just so happy and so grateful that people think of me that way and ask me to do that, to be completely honest with you. I always think that, especially now, like being asked to go to, I'm super emotional, guys. I always feel like I'm about to cry on these things, but I haven't yet. Hold on, Papa. You know what? I'm just enjoying it as much as I can, and I'm keep trying to be myself and, you know, share as much as I can, help people as much as I can. And being asked to do Mint, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how that came about per se, but
Well, I'll
sorry.
say
My son's
congratulations.
looking at me. Sorry. I know, Papa. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll
It's
say
just a little
congratulations,
early.
and you're definitely, you're well received. You know, I've never heard not that it matters or we feed into that, but I've never heard a negative thing. And it was actually people when they got to know Courtney, and they were like, "Oh, have you checked out Mama Breaks?" And then all of a sudden, you know, Courtney, being like the stalker that she is, got on all social medias and checked it out and was like, "Hey."
Oh,
And
You
then
know
it was
what? I
like,
think I saw you. I honestly thought I heard about you before you reached out to me, because I listened to Dr. Beckett and he was interviewing Sam, and Sam mentioned you, and I looked you up.
It's so crazy how like it's all so small and connected.
Yeah.
And I had like 3 people message me and ask me if like we had watched you, and I'm like, no, I don't think I've seen her. And then I went and followed your page, and then I watched a bunch of your stuff, and I don't remember like how I reached out to you, but I just thought you were like, I just loved what you're doing, and you seem so genuine. And like that's something that we talk about when we're building the community around us, is that we really want genuine like people that are like, there's so much bad, unfortunately. There's a lot of bad in the hobby. There's definitely more good, but there is a lot of bad. So you know, it's important to us that we are, you know, creating and cultivating relationships with people that we feel like strongly are in this for the right reason and not like going to cause harm.
Oh no, thank you. And I, like I said, I thought I discovered you guys first because I heard Sam talk about how you're collecting family, and I looked you guys up and I loved your videos. Specifically, the one that makes me crack up, even when I think about it, was the one where your son is obsessed with ripping wax. Because I kid you not, if my mom is watching, because sometimes she does, I'm so sorry for getting my teenage brother into cards, because it's literally that way. He's so obsessed now.
That was, yeah, I had a few that came to my mind because we were walking through the aisles at Walmart and he was ripping wax off the shelves and like trying to throw it in the cart, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, I'm like, I will buy you this. You have to make a TikTok with me.
But you have to have a conversation like, hey, you can't be getting something every time. Like, hey, maybe, and I'll tell my brother stuff like that. Like, hey, you know, I found I have a sports card article. How about you read it and tell me about it, and I'll give you a box or something. And that's our agreement sometimes too. So I try to teach him that too. He has to work for it a little bit.
It's been fun with Steven because we can, like we were talking about cheap labor, we can sometimes pay him in sports cards, which
exactly, yeah, that's awesome. I would do that. Hey,
yeah.
Next time you guys need help sorting and I'm in the area, let me know.
it'll be a
I'll
party.
take payment in boxes too.
You'll have to come out to Shawano one time and set up there. I know it's getting bigger and bigger, so it might be worth your travels out here to the colder part. Springs has asked like 15 times, what is the best card you've ever pulled?
I don't know. I get asked that sometimes. I always remind myself. I always try to remind myself to come up with a good answer. The one I can think of right now is I did which just because of the magnitude of the event was that chicken one of one giving stuff away
Oh
night.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled two one of ones, a Brooke Lopez and a Mo Bamba Auto, which I pulled for someone who is now I consider one of my close friends. So I think that was an awesome night overall. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. I don't even know if we have an answer for that. Probably the on-card Kobe auto or the
Yeah, the on
That's
Kobe.
sick. Yeah.
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 And we
So
didn't
that
even
was
like it. We were like, damn it, it's not Zion Williamson. Throw this to the side.
was that a personal for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
That was
cool.
before. That was back before we even considered doing anything like this.
That's back when you could get Noir for like $500 and Opulence for like $600-700.
That was wild. I'll never buying wax for like what we would buy like 7 boxes of wax for what you get like 1 box like maybe 6 months past that. It was crazy, and I laugh now because it's just like how much it's changed from that to where we're at now.
Oh, just when I was in high school, I would same thing, go to Target, see basketball boxes, open them, like a little. I just get so mad at myself. Somebody posted a video like that the other day, like looking at yourself when you're a kid opening wax. Like, no, just ripping it and like throwing cards away from other teams and getting the Dodger cards and like sticking them on my wall. I had no idea about all this stuff. Like, I had no idea you had to hold the rookie cards. Like where I grew up, or how I grew up, cards weren't a thing. Sports cards. So.
Yeah, I think I used to collect Garbage Pail Kids cards when I was a kid, and some of those cards, man, they go for so much money. And I used to because they're sticker cards, so I'd peel the stickers off and I'd stick them in my locker and I'd stick them on all my binders. I don't even want to, like, it makes me sick to think about how many I probably ruined.
I was really into Pokemon too.
Oh yeah, I missed the Pokemon train. I was like Pogs. I was an idiot. I was dumb.
I saw that on Women of the Hobby. That made me laugh.
I'm like, this is the Pogs and Beanie Babies, and I didn't get into, and I liked Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, you did Beanie Babies?
Yes,
I remember that too.
Yes, I did. We had a Hallmark store next to my mom's hair salon, and I would go in there and like wish that I could afford all of the Beanie Babies that were in there. Like, I'd shampoo like 25 old ladies' hair, so that I could go buy one Beanie Baby.
Oh, I know. They were supposed to pay for everybody's college. Remember the Princess Diana Beanie Baby?
Yeah. They had a Princess Diana Beanie Baby in a case in the Hallmark store next to my mom's salon.
So you're a teacher. There's a lot of people asking questions. For the people who are trying to grow in the hobby, whether it's just to be a better collector, whether it's to start their own business, what kind of advice from you being a teacher can you provide them? Because you seem like you fast-tracked and consumed a lot of information in a short period of time. Are there any resources, or are there any like suggestions that you would give to the people that would help them out?
I love that question. And I'm an English teacher, so I don't know if that goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say right now, but reading is the exile of life to me. I've consumed in this short time that I've started all this, like at least 10 to 11, I would say 10 over and over again to help me just with the time management aspect of things, because that is really the most difficult part, is managing your time. So one book I would recommend for the time management thing is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've read that twice, listened to it twice. And again, every time I am struggling with something, I'll go back and listen to little parts of it too. And a lot of the things that I talk about, how I do things too, I get from that book, honestly. So, um, and Contagious for marketing. That one's really good. That's actually Contagious and Crush It by Gary Vee. So, and if you don't have time to read, what I do is I have Kindle on my phone. So I'm on my phone all the time anyway. And sometimes I tell myself I'd rather just be reading. And I have a long commute to work. So I also listen to I have Audible, which I only got recently because I think I read everything on Libby. But if you use Libby, it's a free library app. You get a lot of stuff for free, audiobooks too.
We are avid believers in reading those types of books. I think our library is just packed.
I will drive as opposed to flying if there's a good book or a series of podcasts that I want to listen to, because it's like nice and quiet, it's relaxing, and I like to consume, majority of my books in that manner.
Yeah. And I also I'm gonna hardcore advocate for listening to some hobby specific podcasts if you really want to learn about the hobby. There are so many just brilliant people putting out incredibly great podcasts. Stacking Slabs, Lucas Tigers and Bronze.
They're not paying me, so I'm not plugging anybody.
Dr. Beckett's
Dr.
podcast
Beckett,
is really cool too.
for sure. There's
Sports Card Nonsense is cool too.
Yes.
I tune into Whatnot and watch MamaBreaks, and that's all I need to know. Follow their model, you'll be golden.
Also, Basketball Card Fanatic magazine is a great resource too, and he does not only a hard copy, but you can get a digital copy. So there's always a ton of really good information there. And stupidly TikTok, if when you're first starting, if you have a short attention span, there are people out there that are just putting out insane breakdowns on product, plays. I don't really suggest taking plays from people you don't know, but there are people that are talking about stats and what cards just sold for what, and there is the resource. So I agree with you. If you want to be successful, it isn't just jump in and do it. You need to educate yourself first. Education is key.
And spend a lot of time just analyzing what people do. I don't know, I think I'm really good at shipping, but I've received so many packages from different people that I've been able to pick the things that I like and don't like. So it's just, be very analytical about everything and have your own style and have your own brand. I talked about brand a lot with EJ last week too, which I think is important, having a color scheme, having a consistent brand voice, all that kind of stuff.
That is so important. I mean, you can
just
tell
remember,
me.
Yeah, just remember this. In business, the two most important things that you should always be focusing on to be successful is sales and marketing. So take that information the way that you want to, but I always, when I'm feeling unfocused, I tell myself that.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Oof. I was had a moment I couldn't speak. That's fantastic advice. I think it's really important too. What you were saying is go through and kind of watch what people like and take the pieces of what they're doing that you like and hold on to that, and then what you don't like, that you can see oh, this seems like it works, or they seem disorganized with this, but they do this really well. So I kind of like what they're doing here. And you can.
Yeah, we all have strengths and weaknesses. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always things you can do better, and there's I feel like a lot of people, if you don't think that you could do something better, you're probably never going to get better at anything. So
yeah, always be a student, always growing. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I go off topic, so sorry.
No, we're the same way. We're the same way.
When you guys said that, not to watch, you guys said not to watch your first video because you went off topic, I was like, man, I'm going to have a hard time staying on topic.
Yeah, we did one on Kobe cards, and 4 minutes in, we were talking about I have no idea.
It's okay though. It's nice to have some of these that are a little more free form occasionally, because you know, sometimes it's hard to like always be so like rigid with what you're doing. It's nice to like have a conversation that's like real and like sort of like organic. I like it. So
for the people who weren't following you prior to this, where can they follow you? Where are you active? Where are you selling cards? Where can people go and help the Mama Breaks business?
Okay, so I'm the most active here on Instagram and TikTok at MamaBreaks. I sell on Whatnot. Haven't been consistent, but will be. Also at MamaBreaks, I have a Discord, which is really cool. We have a really cool community on there, and it's growing every day and very positive and hobby learning centered. You can find the link in my bio to that. And now I should be posting breaks there, and I'm posting on my eBay store every single day too. Also, seller : Mama Breaks.
excellent.
Awesome. What we like to do at the end of these, we like to give something away. So what we'd like to do is you draw a number 1 through 20 on a piece of paper. You hold it up. Whatever you see first on your end, you select. So that way, when somebody inevitably gets mad, they can be mad at you and not me. And what we'll do is we'll give them $50 to spend with Mama Breaks.
Yes.
So the moment we hang up, I'll PayPal you $50, and that winner can use it to buy into a National Treasures break or whatever kind of break that y'all are running over there, big timers.
Perfect.
No, not us yet. Give me see. Let me get a paper. Okay, here we go. You said 1 through 10?
1 through 20. And inevitably, Will Springs and Frat Matt will guess 13 each time. And even when you tell them it's not it, they'll continue to guess that.
I like that you use Will's or you use Matt's Whatnot handle instead of his Instagram handle. And
Doesn't
also
matter.
that I know all of their handles on everything because I'm insane and we have people that I just love and they're like they follow us everywhere and now I get to know all of their different handles.
All right, so this is for
think
50,
as women,
$50.
you know, I think as women we're very that analytical, love to research. So if you want your wife to help you with something, let her do something for the business that she would be interested in. I think you'd be surprised if you just let her try something, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey,
So
Callie King.
everybody in the comments start writing numbers 1 through 20. When Stephanie sees the number that she wrote on her paper, she'll say that's a 1, and then you get $50 credit with Mama Breaks on Reckless cards.
Okay.
It takes a second for them to realize what's. There we go. 17. It's the first number I see. Oh, 17's popular. 8.
Maybe it's 17, y'all.
I will not guess.
Sorry, I didn't pick one that you guys picked yet, guys.
That's okay.
No, that's good.
I like it. It's so
Sorry
funny.
if I went off topic a lot today too. There we go. Invest Curry 2.
Who was it?
Invest Curry. That's what I saw.
Okay.
See, that's good because that's not even showing up on our end.
Yeah.
So
There it is.
Invest Curry, slide into the DMs. Right when we get done, we're gonna send Mama Breaks $50 and go support her awesome business.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can work that out with one of her breaks or a card she has, whatever she wants to give you $50 credit for.
And you said you're gonna be in Atlanta for Culture Collision?
So are we.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Are you guys
Yep.
just going you too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm taking my brother, so my husband can't make it. It was last minute for us.
That'll be fun. That's excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing you there. And will you email me or message me your PayPal or whatever Venmo, Cash App? I can send you whatever you want, and we will we'll link up there. So thank you so much for joining us. This was such a pleasure. It's super nice to have someone else who has kids and like is just doing the damn thing so great. And we are like honored to have had you on tonight.
You guys are doing a great job too.
I'm just gonna say ditto because I'll just bring it downhill after that. It was a nice close, Courtney.
Have a good night. Cool. Your
Have a
kids
good
are so
night.
cute, by the way. Bye.
Thank you.